One of those topics that comes up comes up every single day on the internet. When I post a few of these sort of videos where I'm filtering, and I will get some jackass saying, "That's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. You're a really bad driver because you're filtering, or you're passing through traffic, blah blah blah, pushing your way to the front, all that sort of crap." In the UK, it's perfectly legal to filter and lane split. Now, that doesn't mean you can just. This is a 40-mile-an-hour road. Whoa. This is a 40-mile-an-hour road, and I'm travelling at about 20 miles an hour. Okay? The traffic, if I just slow down, the traffic next to me is doing about 15. So, I'm filtering at 5 miles an hour, if that makes sense. Now, so when filtering, although this is 100% legal, you can get points on your licence and you can be stopped by the police for doing it if they deem it to be unsafe. Now, what I mean by that is if I start to do this, and some people do, they will travel down here at 40 miles an hour while the rest of the traffic's only doing 10 or something, and they have no chance to stop. Say, for example, this van on my left now, I can't see directly in front of me, and there may be a car about to pull across. There would be no chance I'd be able to stop that, and wham, I'd go into it, and that would be my fault. That would not be the car's fault pulling out. Even if they didn't have their indicator on, it would probably still be said as the biker's fault because they were travelling too fast. Which is quite an interesting thing because, indicators, they're taken as a given that everybody should use them. But if speed is involved, the speed will usually always be blamed. So if speed is involved, the biker will always be to blame. There's no two ways about it, Now there are rules about filtering as well. Like I was saying, speed is a good thing. Speed is a good thing to look after. But also, like I was saying, like say this van up here on the left. Now, if I bomb past that a bit fast, even if it doesn't cause a problem or anything, a cop could in fact stop you for aggressive overtaking or dangerous overtaking, i.e. because you cannot see past that vehicle, especially a lorry like this great big yellow one up here. So there's that to bear in mind. It's very rare for someone to be pulled for this, but it does happen. Also, you cannot filter. This is a big myth that you can filter on a double or a solid white line. So it dashes down the road, means filtering's allowed. If that was a solid white, you are not allowed to filter. Now, that can be interpreted a lot of ways, because the rule book says no overtaking, i.e. going over the white line. That's what it's commonly referred to, but the code that we have to revise, the code in the UK, the highway code, doesn't actually say that. What it actually says is you're not allowed to overtake on a solid white. Period. That's it. Filtering is overtaking. Now, a lot of bikers say, well, I'm not crossing the white line, so I'm not really overtaking, I'm just filtering past it, da da da. And I've seen a lot of police will be quite lax on that as well, but if they decide to pull you, they probably could. So again, solid white line, no filtering. You can overtake on a solid white line if, I'll have to look it up and I'll post it on screen, if a vehicle is travelling under a certain speed. It's something like 8 miles an hour or something like that. And then that's the only reason you're allowed to pass it. It's like a horse or a bicycle or a highway maintenance vehicle, doing something. Then you are allowed to actually overtake on a solid white. Also, when filtering, if you are causing traffic to negate from their original path, that again can be taken as an aggressive overtake, and you can be charged with that. That's 3 points on your licence again. So all these people who filter on the outside on a road and cause, they're crossing the white line and they cause other traffic in the oncoming direction, on the oncoming lane, to actually change their path, that can be termed as aggressive overtake, and again you can get points on your licence. Now what about these hatchings on the road? As long as the line by the hatching is dotted, you are allowed to filter past it. Not saying you should, but you are allowed to. Again, here, this is perfectly legal to filter here, but if I was causing traffic on the right hand side to... What was that you made of? If I was causing traffic on the right hand side to deviate from their path, again, and that can be caused or called aggressive overtaking or dangerous overtaking, etc. And again, you can actually be done for that. So this is actually legal, but there is a big but in it. See this car here, I'm going to slow down. So even though I could probably squeeze through there, the car to my right would probably, panic a bit and change his course, which I wouldn't blame him for. And that can be deemed dangerous overtaking. Can you overtake on the left or the right? Either, doesn't matter. You just got to watch out for those lines. If it's a solid, you can't do it. So a lot of roads have this hatching on the left hand side, to narrow roads down. If you have a solid white line on that hatching before you go into it, you can't overtake. Or filter, sorry. Now, I'm no police officer, I'm no expert. This is just what, from the years of riding, that I've been able to put together about what is legal and what isn't. When it comes down to it, it's just common sense that you do things safely. Now, some of the popular videos you see on YouTube, the people like going down the middle here and they're filtered to the right, to the left, whipping between lanes, etc. Is it legal? No, not really. Although filtering is legal, chopping between lanes like that, if a copper wants to, they're quite lax in the UK a lot of the time, but if a copper wants to, they can pull you and do you for dangerous driving. Again, 3 points. Speed. Now this is one that, if the traffic is moving at an acceptable speed, like say the limit's 40 miles an hour and the traffic's moving at 30-ish, deemed that it's not necessary to filter, and if you do filter, that can be again classed as dangerous driving or whatever. So, but saying that, I've never met or heard of anyone being done for that. But there's always a but. There's always going to be a first sort of thing. Let's get past him. Right, how about this? Filtering on the zigzags. You are allowed to filter on the zigzags, so long as you go as far up as this. You don't go past the car on the front of the zigzag. There's no ifs or buts about that ever. 3 points again if you filter right to the front. And a fine, by the way, I think it's like 70 odd quid. Now, like I said, I am no expert, I don't have any formal police training, I'm not an expert. I did get 100% in my driving test, but that doesn't mean anything. So do check your highway code. And filtering really comes down to, or safe filtering really comes down to being sensible and watching the road markings at the end of the day.